ये ज़ूम पे हम पढ़ा नहीं रहे बच्चों को।
ये उनसे कोई इंटरेक्टिव सेशन करना। Assalamu alaikum students. Yesterday I started with genetic disorders. So I did mutations. I told you what are point mutations, what are frame shift mutations, and what are deletions, insertions. I hope you remember that. So today we are going to do it with the Mendelian disorders. Mendelian disorders, as I've told you, are those disorders, single gene disorder with larger effects. I hope you remember that. So in Mendelian disorders, it can be autosomal dominant, it can be autosomal recessive, or it can be X-linked disorders. So Mendelian disorders are the result of mutations in single genes that have larger effects. I told you this as well yesterday. So any gene disorder when there is single gene disorder but the effect produced is larger, they are known as Mendelian disorder. Every individual is a carrier of 5 or 8 deletions of the genes, and most of these are recessive and they do not have serious phenotypic effects. Some of the individuals, they do have these 5 to 8 deleterious genes in them, but these genes do not produce any phenotypic effect. It means that in that person no effect is shown. Phenotype means when you are seeing the change in that person, and genotype is the change which is present in the genetic makeup. So because there are going to be defects in genes, but they are not going to be evident when you see a person. So that means they have no serious phenotypic effects. 80 to 85% of these mutations are familiar. The remainder mutations are acquired. Okay. Some autosomal mutation produce partial expression in the heterozygotes and complete expression in homozygotes. It means that autosomal mutations are those mutations which are present in autosomes. Autosomes are 22 pairs of chromosomes and one pair is sex chromosome. So the genetic changes which are seen in autosomal chromosome, they produce partial expression in heterozygotes. Heterozygotes mean in which only one one allele is defective, the other is normal. Complete expression in homozygotes means that both the genes are going to be defective. Okay. So like in sickle cell anemia, it is caused by substitution of normal hemoglobin A by hemoglobin S. When an individual is homozygous for the mutant gene, all hemoglobin is abnormal. That is, hemoglobin S is seen, and even with normal oxygen saturation, the person is going to experience a sickling of the red blood cells with hemolytic anemia. So this means that if both genes are going to be defective, in the homozygous person, both genes are going to be defective or mutant, and in the case of sickle cell anemia, there is going to be hemoglobin S only, and this is going to cause sickling of red blood cells and hemolytic anemia, even though the oxygen saturations are going to be normal. So I hope this is clear. Mendelian disorders, as I've told you, that these are the single gene disorders with larger effects, and this can be the example I've given you, sickle cell anemia. I also gave you this example yesterday. In the heterozygotes, only a portion of hemoglobin S remainder is normal, hemoglobin A. So in the homozygous, all of the hemoglobin is S, and the person is going to experience sickling and hemolytic anemia even at the normal concentration of oxygen. But in a heterozygous individual, there is hemoglobin S, but the remainder of the hemoglobin is normal, adult hemoglobin, and sickling only occurs when there is low concentration of oxygen, and this is known as sickle cell trait. It is not a sickle cell disease full blown, but this is a sickle cell trait in which the in the low oxygen conditions or lower oxygen tension, the RBCs are going to become sickle in shape. Mendelian traits are usually described as dominant or recessive, as I told you earlier, and in some cases, both the alleles of gene pair contribute to the phenotype called the codominance. Histocompatibility and blood group antigens are examples of codominance. This means that Mendelian traits either can be dominant or recessive. Dominant means only one gene is going to be defective, and recessive, both genes are going to be defective. And in some cases, both the alleles of a gene pair contribute to the phenotype. That is the way you are going to see an individual is going to expressed by both the defective genes. And this is called a codominance. Like codominance means that both genes are producing simultaneously their effects in the phenotype of that patient. Histocompatibility antigen and blood group antigen are examples of codominance. Pleiotropism. Pleiotropism means that a single mutant gene have many side effects. Many side effects are termed as pleiotropism. Sickle cell anemia is an example of pleiotropism. Hemoglobin S predisposes the red blood cells to hemolysis. Abnormal red blood cells also cause a logjam effect in the small blood vessels, including splenic fibrosis, organ infarcts, and bone changes. Pleiotropism means that there is a gene defect with side effects. So the defect in the gene is in the hemoglobin S is produced, which leads to sickling. This is the defect. But on the other side, because of the hemolysis, and these blood cells also going to cause a logjam effect in the blood vessel, especially in the spleen, because all the blood has to go pass through the spleen. This will lead to splenic fibrosis and infarction in the spleen as well, and sometimes bone changes can be seen in the case of sickle cell anemia. So this is known as pleiotropism. I hope it is clear. The side effects with a gene defect, they are known as pleiotropism. Okay. So I've told you what is codominance and what is pleiotropism. This I showed you yesterday, that there are two adults, both parents have got sickle cell anemia trait. Adult hemoglobin is present, but S hemoglobin is present in both. So one child is going to have the sickle cell trait, this one and this one. This child is going to have all adult normal hemoglobin, and this child, which gets both the S from both the parents, is going to suffer from sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease. Okay, so this is the Mendelian disorder with larger effects, single gene disorder with larger effects. Next is the transmission pattern of single gene disorders. How these single gene disorders are going to be transmitted. Mutations involving single genes typically follow one of the three patterns of inheritance. Either they will be inherited as autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, and X-linked. Okay, so sometimes they are autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, or they are X-linked. First, we will discuss what are autosomal dominant disorders in Mendelian disorder. The autosomal dominant disorders are manifested in heterozygous states. Only one parent of an index case is usually affected. When an affected person marries an unaffected one, every child has one chance in two of having the disease. Okay, so in the autosomal dominant pattern, there is only one defective parent. Okay, and that parent is also going to have single gene defect in them. Okay, so when this parent is going to marry an unaffected person, the affected person marries an unaffected one, every child will have one chance in two of having the disease. Okay, sorry, every child in one have out of two will have the disease. Okay, so if you see this, this is the sickle cell, but this is the affected, both affected person were married. If this one is not affected and this one is affected, only one child will have the trait, the other child is going to be normal. This would have been normal if this lady would have been normal. Okay, so in the autosomal dominant, disorders are manifested in the heterozygous state. Only one parent of an index case is usually affected. When affected person marries an unaffected one, every child has one chance in two of having the disease. The autosomal dominant disorders are characterized by the following. Number one, With every autosomal dominant disorder, some patients do not have affected parents. In these patient disorders have occurred due to new mutations involving either the sperm or the egg from which they were derived. Their siblings are neither affected or nor at an increase of risk of development of this disorder. The new diseases affect reproductive capability. If a disease markedly reduces reproductive fitness, most cases are from new mutations. Many new mutations seem to occur in germ cells of elderly fathers. This means that sometimes in the autosomal dominant, the parents are not affected, but the child is affected. That why the child gets affected? Because there is going to be some defect either in the sperm or the egg after it has been produced. There can be a change in the sperm or of the egg, and that is going to affect that child who is going to be developed from that. And this disease is not going to manifest in the parents or nor in the siblings. And this disease can lead to effect in the reproductive capability. If this disease markedly reduces reproductive fitness, most cases are from new mutations. And these new mutations are seen especially in the sperms of the germ cells of the elderly fathers. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next is clinical features can be modified by variations in penetrance and expressivity. It means that how these features are going to be manifested depends upon the penetrance of the gene and how this gene is going to be expressed in that individual. Some individuals inherit the mutant gene, but phenotypically they are normal. There is referred to as incomplete penetrance. So this means if an individual has a mutant gene, but in an appearance, he or she is not seeing any change. So this is known as the patient is phenotypically normal, but this is an incomplete penetrance of gene which is not producing any effect in the appearance of that person. So 50% of those who carry the gene expresses the trait. Okay. If a trait is seen in all the individuals carrying the mutant gene, but if expressed differently among individuals, it is called variable expressivity. It means that the gene defect is present and it is expressed in differently in different individuals. Okay. So this is called gene variable expressivity. The example of gene variable expressivity is in the manifestation of neurofibromatosis type 1. In neurofibromatosis type 1, the changes can range from only brownish spots around the mouth to the multiple skin tumors to the skeletal deformities. It means that in all these individuals, the gene defect is the same, but it is expressed differently in different individuals. Some individuals will only have brown spots in your neurofibromatosis type 1. But the other individuals can have multiple skin tumors and other can have skeletal deformities. And some of them have all the symptoms together. So this is called variable expressivity. I hope this is clear. So incomplete penetrance occurs when the gene is defective, but this effect is not shown physically on that person. Phenotypically, the person appears normal. So this is called incomplete penetrance. And variable expressivity is that when the gene is defective, but it expresses differently in different individuals. The example I have given you of neurofibromatosis type 1. Next is, in many conditions, age at the onset is delayed. Symptoms and signs do not appear until adulthood. And this defect is seen mostly in Huntington's disease. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Sometimes parents are not affected, but the children are getting affected because of new mutation, especially in case of elderly father whose germ cells show mutations. Autosomal dominant disorders in which I have also said to you that number 2 was phenotypically they are normal, but they have a gene defect. And variable expressivity is that the gene defect is the same, but it expresses it differently in different individual. Example I gave you of neurofibromatosis type 1. And number 3 is that in many conditions, the gene defect is delayed for certain age. Age at onset is delayed. And this is mostly seen in the case of Huntington disease when the gene is there, but the condition is going to be seen in the adulthood. Okay. Autosomal dominant disorders continued. The biochemical mechanism of autosomal dominant disorder depend upon the nature of the mutation and the type of protein affected. Many autosomal dominant diseases arising from mutations fall in the following patterns. Those involved in regulation of complex metabolic pathways that are subject to feedback inhibition, like LDL receptors, 50% loss lead to familial hypercholesterolemia and later in life atherosclerosis. Okay, so autosomal dominant disorder, how they are going to produce their effect. The biochemical mechanism of autosomal dominant disorder depend upon the nature of the mutation, what mutation is present, and the type of protein which is going to be effective. So in many autosomal disorders, diseases arising from mutation fall into the following pattern. The first pattern is those involved in regulation of complex metabolic pathway. So the proteins which are produced in this case are going to be defective. So if we give the examples of LDL, which is low density lipoprotein receptor, 50% loss of low density lipoprotein receptors are seen in familial hypercholesterolemia. Familial hypercholesterolemia means that person has a family history of having increased serum cholesterol in their life. And these patients can develop atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is the deposition of fat and fatty acids in the larger blood vessels in the body, especially in the aorta. So all familial hypercholesterolemia, atherosclerosis, you are going to read in your fourth year classes when we do the CBS. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Number two, key structural proteins such as collagen and key cytoskeletal elements of red blood cell membrane. So first was the defects in the metabolic pathway. The example given was of the LDL receptors. Number two, the structural proteins can be defective, especially if the structural proteins are collagen are going to be defective. They are key cytoskeleton in the red blood cell membrane. Even with a single mutant collagen chain, it appears the normal function of single allele seen in the osteogenesis imperfecta. Osteogenesis imperfecta you are also going to study in detail in your fourth year, where the bones are going to be brittle. Brittle bone disease is the other name given to this condition. Okay, so either the metabolic pathways are going to be defective because of the feedback inhibition, or because of the structural protein defects, there is going to be defects in the structure of the protein, which can lead to cytoskeletal changes in the red blood cells, or other disease which I have given example is osteogenesis imperfecta. So these are the autosomal disorders which are present. These can be in the nervous system, in the renal system, gastrointestinal system, hematopoietic system, skeletal system, and metabolic disorders. Nervous system, Huntington's disease, neurofibromatosis, myotonic dystrophy, tuberous sclerosis. Renal polycystic kidney disease, familial polyposis coli, hereditary spherocytosis, and von Willebrand are seen in hematopoietic system and skeletal Marfan, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, osteogenesis imperfecta, and achondroplasia. So these diseases, all of them you are going to study in your fourth year one by one. So don't think that these things are like Latin to you, okay? So these charts are given in your Robbins. I hope autosomal dominant disorders and their how they are phenotypically seen is clear. If there is, these are not clear, you can send me message in your inbox, or you can send me the message in the WhatsApp group of third year, okay? So I will respond and I will answer your queries. Next is the autosomal recessive disorder. Remember, we are doing Mendelian disorder. First, I did autosomal dominant disorder. Now we are going to do autosomal recessive disorder. Autosomal recessive disorders make the largest category of Mendelian disorders. These occur when both alleles at a given gene locus are mutated. These disorders are characterized by, number one, the trait does not usually affect the parent of the affected individual, but siblings may show the disease. Number two, siblings have one chance of 4 of having that trait. Number three, if the mutual gene occurs with a low frequency in the population, there is a strong likelihood that affected individual is a product of consanguineous marriage. Consanguineous marriage is a marriage between the first cousins of very close relative. Both the parents are going to have this gene defect and it's going to be shown in the offsprings or their children. Okay. So autosomal recessive disorder are seen when both the genes are defective at both alleles, and these are characterized that parents have trait, but the child is born with a disease. Okay, siblings may show the disease. Siblings have one chance of four of having the trait. If the mutual gene occurs with a low frequency in the population, there is strong likelihood that the affected individual is a product of consanguineous marriage or close cousin marriage. Okay, so this is the Mendelian disorder: carrier father, carrier mother. Okay, so this R is going to be defective and this is normal. So if both these R's are going to occur, son is going to be unaffected. This daughter is going to be a carrier, which is having one R from mother and the normal R from father. And this is going to be a carrier when mother is giving the normal R, but father is giving an abnormal R. And this child is affected if both the R's are given to the child by both the defective R's of parents. Okay. So this is the inheritance of Mendelian disorders in human in autosomal recessive disorder. Recessive are going to become expressed when both alleles are going to be defective. Okay. I hope this is clear. And when an allele is defective, these people are going to be carrier, and this is having the both normal alleles. This child is going to be unaffected. Autosomal recessive disorders continued. Following features are seen in autosomal recessive disorders. The expression of the defect tends to be more uniform than in the autosomal dominant disorder. Complete penetrance is common. Onset is frequently early in life. New mutations associated with recessive disorders do occur, but are rarely detected clinically. The individuals with new mutation is heterozygous for the new mutation, and several generations have to pass before the descendants of such a person marry a heterozygote and produce the affected offspring. In heterozygous, equal amount of normal and defective enzymes are produced. Cells with half normal enzyme function normally. So what I have said is that features which are seen in autosomal recessive disorder, number one, the expression of the defect tends to be more uniform and than in the autosomal dominant defect disorders. Complete penetrance is common. Complete penetrance means that whoever the person is, the effect is going to be shown phenotypically. Phenotypically means in his or her appearance. Onset of this disease occurs early in the life. And number three is that if new mutations occur in this individual, new mutations are only going to be seen in the offsprings when they marry a person which have the same gene defects. Okay, so this many generations can pass before that onset is going to be shown. Okay, in the heterozygotes, equal amount of normal and defective enzymes are present. So half of the normal enzyme can do the normal function. These are the features in autosomal recessive disorders. Also, or the examples of autosomal recessive disorders, this is the chart, this is given in your Robbins. They can be metabolic disorders, hematopoietic, endocrinal, skeletal, or nervous system. Metabolic is cystic fibrosis, phenylketonuria, galactosemia, homocystinuria, lysosomal storage disorder, alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, Wilson's disease, hemochromatosis, glycogen storage disorder. So all of these disorders in the hematopoietic system, metabolic, endocrine, can be manifested by autosomal recessive disorder. All these diseases you are going to study one by one in your special pathology. Don't think this is all Latin for you. You are going to read them, inshallah, in your fourth year classes. Okay? So that's why I'm not going into the details. Each detail will need another half an hour for each type of disease. Okay? So I'm leaving all this for fourth year. You don't need to know in your third year, you only need to know what are autosomal recessive disorders and what diseases can show you these disorders. That both the charts are given you in the Robbins, both the autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive disorder chart. Next is the X-linked disorder. X-linked disorders means this is shown on the sex chromosome or the pair of X chromosome or Y chromosome. So all sex-linked disorders are X-linked, they are not Y-linked. All disorders which are X-linked disorders are present on the X chromosome, either which is coming from a parent which is from the father or from the mother, but all are X-linked. There are no Y-linked disorders. Males with mutations affecting the Y genes are usually infertile. So there are no Y-linked inheritance disorder present in the human beings. Okay. X-linked recessive inheritance occurs for small number of cases. An affected male does not transmit the disorder to his son, but all daughters are carriers. Sons of heterozygous women have one chance in two of receiving the mutant gene. So what does it mean? It means that Y gene is not going to be defective, because Y genes, if they are going to be defective, that person is infantile and will not be able to produce children. So all the X-linked disorders are coming from the X chromosome. Either this X chromosome is coming from the father, or this X chromosome is coming from the mother. Okay. So if there a male is affected, he is not going to transmit the disease to his son, because he is only giving Y chromosome to the son. The disease to the son comes from the affected mother. But this man can give this defective X chromosome to his daughters. Okay. I hope this is clear. The heterozygous female usually does not express the full-blown phenotypic change because of the paired normal allele. In some females, mutant X chromosome is active, permitting full expression of X-linked conditions. In most of these cases, normal allele is inactivated in some of the cells, thus heterozygous expresses the disorder partially. For example, in G6PD deficiency, glucose 6-phosphatase dehydrogenase deficiency. X-linked dominant conditions are few. Vitamin D resistant ricket is one of these. Okay, so I hope it is clear. I will explain it again. As I've told you, only the X chromosome can transmit the X-linked disorder. Y chromosome, if it has a disorder, these men are infertile, so they cannot produce children. So if the father is having a defective X chromosome, he can pass this to his daughters only, not to his son, because son is getting their X from the mother. But if the mother is defective with an X chromosome, that son can develop, can be affected because of the mother. Okay, so I hope this is clear. These are the X-linked disorder. In the musculoskeletal system, Duchenne muscular dystrophy is an X-linked disorder. In the blood, hemophilia A and hemophilia B, chronic granulomatous diseases, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency, A-gamma globulinemia, Wiskott-Aldrich syndrome. These are the immune-mediated diseases. Metabolic diseases are diabetes mellitus, Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, and nervous system Fragile X syndrome. Fragile X syndrome, I told you yesterday, when there is tandem repeats of the amino acids which have become more than the normal. Okay, so that gives rise to Fragile X syndrome. So these are X-linked dominant defective father. This is a father who has a defective X chromosome. This is the affected chromosome, and these are the unaffected chromosome. Mother is normal. This father can transmit this X to both the daughters, but the mother is giving X to both the sons. So sons are normal because Y is normal and mother is giving the normal X to sons. Daughters are defective because daughters having defective X from the father and normal X from the mother. So daughters are going to be affected, but sons are not going to be affected. If this mother has one affected chromosome, then the sons are going to be affected. Okay, then the sons will be carrier. But if mother is normal, sons are going to be normal. Biochemical and molecular basis of single gene Mendelian disorder. Mechanisms which can be classified as enzyme defects and their consequences. The example is phenylketonuria. Defects in the membrane receptors and transport system. Hypercholesterolemia, as I've told you. LDL receptor defects can lead to familial hypercholesterolemia. Number 3, alterations in structures and function or quantity of non-enzyme protein. Marfan syndrome and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome are the syndromes in which there is defective structure and function of the proteins. Mutations resulting in unusual reactions to drugs. In this example is G6PD deficiency. Okay. So mechanisms which can be classified because of the Mendelian disorders are defects in the enzyme, defects in the cytoskeletal system, because of the structure of the proteins are defective, defects in the membrane because of the defects in transport system like LDL receptors, and defects in the mutation resulting in unusual reactions to drugs, in which comes the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. So next we'll see these disorders one by one. In the Marfan syndrome, you are going to study these as well as in a 4th year. Marfan syndrome is a disorder which is present in the connective tissue in which skeletal, eye, and cardiovascular systems are affected. Marfan syndrome results from an inherited defect in the extracellular glycoprotein, which is known as fibrillin. So Marfan syndrome is a syndrome which is, we can say it is a connective tissue disorder in which protein, glycoprotein, is inheritedly defective, and this is called fibrillin. Fibrillin is going to be defective. In the Marfan syndrome, the skeletal abnormalities, the patient is tall with long extremities, long tapering fingers and toes. Now, some people say that Abraham Lincoln was suffering from Marfan syndrome. Okay, so you might have seen the pictures of that person. In the skeletal abnormalities, the Marfan syndrome, the person is going to present with is going to be tall, with long extremities, long tapering fingers and toes. Joint ligaments are lax, and the joints are hyperextensible joints. In some circles, you have seen people that they can extend their joints a lot more than the normal people. So these people might be suffering from Marfan syndrome, or they can be trained to develop their joints like that. We really don't know. The head is long in Marfan syndrome. This is known as dorsiocephalic head with bossing of the frontal eminences. It means the frontal part or the forehead is going to be prominent, is going to come out as a prominence. And prominent supraorbital ridges are present. So if you see the picture of Abraham Lincoln, I should have put it. Now they say that he was suffering from Marfan syndrome. The spinal deformities which are present in Marfan syndrome is kyphosis, scoliosis, rotational tipping of lumbar vertebrae. Okay, these are the spinal deformities which are kyphosis, scoliosis. The spine is going to be bent irregularly. The chest presents as excavatum or a pigeon-based deformity. Excavatum, pectus excavatum is the chest is going to be depressed, and it is known as pigeon-based deformity. Okay, so these are the features of a Marfan syndrome, which results from defects in the glycoprotein called fibrillin. Inherited defects in the glycoprotein called fibrillin. These can be your examination question. If a person is examiner can ask these questions, what are the Mendelian disorders? Give us some example. You can give this example very well. Okay. In the Marfan syndrome, there are certain eye changes as well, which are known as ocular changes. Bilateral subluxation or dislocation of the lens is present, which is known as ectopia lentis. In the cardiovascular system, the changes can be most life-threatening features. Mitral valve prolapse can be seen. Dilatation of ascending aorta due to cystic media necrosis can occur. You are going to study cystic media necrosis in 4th year. Loss of medial support results in progressive dilatation of aortic valve ring or root of aorta, giving rise to severe aortic incompetence. Intimal tear leads to aortic dissection, and hemorrhage can rupture through aortic valve. So there will be changes in skeletal system, changes in the eye, changes in the CVS. All these CVS changes you are going to read one by one in your 4th year. Okay. So these are the changes seen in Marfan syndrome. Next is the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It also results from the defect in the synthesis and structure of fibrillar collagen. There are 6 variants of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, all characterized with defective collagen synthesis or assembly of collagen is defective. These clinical features include fragile, hyperextensible skin, vulnerable to trauma, hypermobile joints, rupture involving colon, cornea, or large arteries, wool healing is delayed. So when the collagen is defective, so wherever this collagen is present, that area is going to be defective. So skin becomes hyperextended. आप आराम से स्किन को ऊपर से खींच सकते हैं, ठीक है? That means that hypermobile joints, the joints can be hyperextended. Colon can rupture because of the fibrillar structure is going of the collagen is going to be defective. Cornea can lead to rupture or rupture of large arteries can be seen, and wound healing is poor in these people. So these are the 6 classes of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. This chart is also given in your Robbins. I'm not going into the details. You can read it on your own, and you can ask me a question later on. Then familial hypercholesterolemia is another example, which is a receptor disease. That is consequence of mutation in gene encoding the receptor for low density lipoprotein receptor. LDL receptors are low density lipoprotein receptor, which is involved in transport and metabolism of cholesterol. Receptor abnormalities lead to loss of feedback control, and elevated levels of cholesterol that induce premature atherosclerosis. Premature atherosclerosis means deposition of fat deposits in the blood vessels in an early age. That is premature. With aging, some fat is deposited, but premature atherosclerosis is when the person is young and fat deposition occurs in the blood vessel. Hypercholesterolemia is one of the most frequently occurring Mendelian disorder. Patients develop tenderness in skin xanthomas, coronary, cerebral, and peripheral vascular atherosclerosis. Myocardial infarction may also occur before 20 years of age. So the time is finished. These disorder, I'm going to do it tomorrow, okay? So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Sorry. Assalamu alaikum. Fine. आपका क्या हाल है? Sorry, मैंने टाइम ले लिया आपको. बेटा मुझे
ये आज दूसरा है